Hey guys, welcome back to Raid Shadow Legends. In today's video, we're going to be doing a beginner's guide for the game, get you feeling comfortable inside the menus and all the different sections of the game, because it's something that I've seen a few people say now, which is they just feel too overwhelmed with everything in the game. So we've jumped on to my level 39, about a week old account, to show you everything of importance in that early stage of the game. Anything past that, I think will be a little bit too overwhelming. Just note there is additional stuff that we're not going to cover in this one that is more of a later game thing that you don't need to stress about too much. The other thing is, if you are just starting the game or you've started and you don't like what you've done and you want to start over, I do have a link in the description and the pinned comment, which is going to get you off to a pretty amazing start. It will, when you finish the tutorial, you'll get Elenaril, who is a nice legendary poisoner. Then along the way at level 10, 20, and 30, you will get Tagoar, Mausoleum Mage, and Uugo, who are all fantastic epics. So if you want to do that, you can do that as well. And don't forget, you've got some decent codes at the moment as well. We got Supreme 6, which is going to give you Supreme Gallic, or we got Monkey King, which will give you Wukong. Both great legendaries. You can only choose one, but just note you need to use those codes in the first 24 hours of your account, which is over here in the promo codes section. If you miss out on that, or your account gets level 15, you won't be able to get them, so it might be worth restarting to go ahead and grab those things. But that is everything. If you are restarting and you're having trouble getting those rewards, the codes, and the download rewards in your inbox, then I will leave a link to a video that explains how to make sure you do that, because it is a bit of a buggy system. But let's jump over here and jump into the first thing in any gacha game, which is the summoning system, and that is the shards. So for this one, I'm going to hide my head for a sec because my fat head's in the way. We've got mystery shards. These you will get a ton of, these green ones. Just go ahead and pop them, especially if you're a budget or a free-to-play player. These are going to be really helpful for you to get champions that you can feed to upgrade other champions. If you're a big spender, you will eventually probably just stack up a ton of these and not really care about them. But once again, for those low spenders, these are fantastic. Then we have ancient shards, void shards, primal shards, and sacred shards. These are all shards that you never want to really pop until there is an event going on. They have increased drop chance events. So if I hit the info here and give you my ugly face back again, so you can see that these rates here, when there is an event, it will tell you there's an event, but also if you go into the rates, you will be able to see some of these numbers will be yellow and they will be an increased number. For instance, sometimes with the sacred shards, you will get a boosted chance with that, and it goes up to 12%. These can go up to 1% on the legendaries and 16% on the epics, but just makes basically, you don't want to be popping these things unless there is an event that's giving you some value out of it, because that's how you're going to get your good champions to go ahead and grind with. Moving on from that, after you do some summons, you're going to get your champions. So let's go to the champion page. Basically, the champions, the two main things you're going to worry about at this stage with your champions. Obviously, your skills are going to matter. You'll figure them out in combat. I'm not going to dive into every character's skills, but we're going to have your gear and your masteries. So with your gear, your artifacts, just note that the top three pieces, their main stat, which this one is defense, this one is HP, and this one is attack, those are always going to be the same. They are never going to change. So the only two things that matter with these pieces of gear are the stats under the picture, which are these three here, and also the set bonus that they have. You can see this is 2 per set. You get HP and defense from it. So the set and the substats are all that matter for these top three pieces. When you go down into the bottom pieces, that is where your primary stat will start to matter. Now, for the gloves in general, most support characters are going to want HP percent or defense percent, and most damage dealers are going to want either crit rate, normally crit rate early on. Later on, you can start looking to crit damage as well. Then for the chest, supports once again normally going to want HP percent or defense percent. Note that you can get like flat defense, flat HP, and flat attack, which looks like this, where it doesn't have the percent symbol. Those are going to be worse in 99% of cases than the percentage ones, because maybe when you are really low level, like a level 1 on a 2-star unit, the flat stats will give you more weighting, but you don't spend any time at that level, so the HP percent, defense percent, and attack percent will outscale as you get further into the game in about like 10 minutes of playing a champion. So then we move on from that. Once again, your supporters, HP percent, defense percent. Your attackers normally going to want the attack percent. However, the chest can also have accuracy and resistance, which will both have their place along the way. Accuracy, especially if you're someone that's trying to land plenty of debuffs and you never want those debuffs to miss. Sometimes you can sacrifice some of your defensive stats to go ahead and get that accuracy as well. And then for the boots, you're generally going to want speed. Everyone loves speed. There are cases of champions that will want other stats, but in general, speed is the good stat to see for your main stat over there. As for the accessories, I'm not going to dive into them. You will get them in the early game. Just slap them on if you have one that fits your champion. Don't stress too much about this. This is a bit later on. It's not like a first week thing. Like, you will get them, but it's not something you need to stress about this early on into the game. Then once again, we have the Masteries. Definitely jump in here and read your Masteries. But if you are looking to do some Masteries, and you're feeling overwhelmed by this, go to hellhades.com. They have a fantastic database there of all champions and some recommendations for champion masteries if you want to do it, or you can go ahead and figure out your own masteries as well. Just note, you can buy out a champion's masteries. You can get them all here, and you can buy them out for 800 diamonds. I definitely recommend doing that on your first champion. On this account, I did that on my Kale. On my new account that I'm just grinding up, which is using the Supreme Gallic, I'm actually going to try it on him. That's an experiment I'm running. We'll see. But definitely spending those first 800 gems that your account gets to unlock all the masteries will be really great for your farming unit. In this case is Kale. He's the guy that's going to run in all the campaign stages to get experience for my other champions. We'll touch more on that in a second. So now that we've done summons and champions, let's go into actually powering up our champions over in the tavern. Now in the tavern, you can power up a champion. Basically, you've got 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, and 6 star. Whatever star you are, put a 0 on the end of it, and that is your level cap. If you're a 1 star, you're a 10 level cap. If you're a 2 star, you're a 20 level cap. If you're a 3 star, you're a 30 level cap, so on and so forth. That is the way it works. Then once you hit the level cap, if you want to go up to the next star rating, you need your star ratings amount of champions at your star rating. So if that doesn't make sense, if you are a 4 star here and you want to upgrade your rank, you'll need 4 stars. Those ones you feed can be level 1, but you do have to be at your max level. So that is the way that works. Now that happens over here in the upgrade rank. Upgrade levels is just where you're going to put a champion in. For instance, let's say him. Let's say I want to raise him levels. You can use these brews. Save the gold one. There's not a situation in the early game where I think that gold brew is worth using. It's for when you make... Ideally, for me, I'm going to use it on a 6 star support because it's going to be a 6 star that I can't just farm my way up. It's a bit more advanced, but yeah, save the big barrel. Save the big barrel. You don't want to use that. If you're going to use the brews, make sure it matches the color of your character. This guy's a void, which is purple. So if I'm going to level him up, I'm going to use the purple one because the purple one's going to be giving me 18,750, whereas the blue one is going to give me 12,500. You get a 50% boost if you use the right color. So always use the right color one. Is the basic gist there. So that is what you want to do, and you can just level them up to level cap and away you go. Now, sometimes you can definitely feed some of these 1 stars into other champions. Like I could do this to get some experience. Sometimes you will want to level 1 stars and keep upgrading them because you need to do a lot of upgrading of ranks to get a 6 star essentially. But you can feed those. I would never... Unless you're a Giga Whale, I would never feed 2 star or above for experience. These things are too valuable for upgrading ranks. For instance, if I want to go over here and let's say old mate over here, I want to upgrade his rank. Boom, we got 2 stars at level 1 there. We can go ahead, we can upgrade that. There we go. Then we're working our way up with our ranks so that we can eventually feed them into one of our 3 stars and get them upgraded. Also, any of the rare champions that you do pull along the way, and especially the epics, don't feed epics, don't feed legendaries. But some of the rare ones, if you summon them and they're not farmable, like this guy's farmable from stages, she's farmable from stages. If they're not farmable, I would just hold on to them because you do have a duping system where you can get extra stats, which I'll show you in a minute. Then we have upgrading skills. Now, upgrading skills, you can use duplicates of a character. So you can see here, I've got multiple of her. I could use that and I could use another copy of her to get a skill up, or I could use skill tomes. And now when you do upgrade a skill, it is going to give you a random skill upgraded. You can't choose which one. It's always going to end up being the one you don't want. You just got to live with it and accept it. The other thing is I only have rare skill books here. So that is a rare skill book. There are also epic skill books and legendary skill books. Never use an epic skill book or a legendary skill book. Basically, never use a skill book on a lower rarity champion. So you're never going to use epic or legendary books on a rare champion. You're never going to use a legendary book on a epic champion. Just don't do it. I don't know why it's even an option in the game that you can do it. It kind of sucks, but just never do it. That is the basic gist there. Now, as we go on to Ascensions, the big thing to note is going to be your Ascension level 3. That is where you unlock advanced ability. Some characters will unlock a new ability. Some characters, it will enhance their ability. For instance, here you can see here that when she doesn't have it, she has a 30% decreased defense, and then when we get it, we have a 60% decreased defense. So Ascension 3 is the big one for that. Every other Ascension is just stat increases, and to do those Ascensions, you will need those potions. So let's jump in and now start talking about where you're going to get different things in combat quickly for those potions. For them, you're going to come over here, and these are going to be your dungeon. Every character is going to need some of the white ones, so you get them from the Arcane Keep, which is always open. The rest of these are dependent on your element. Different element characters will require the different elements. Now, just note these are all open on the weekend. However, during the week, it is specific days for specific ones. So if you're going to need some, get them on the weekend or keep track of what days they are open. And that pretty much covers everything to do with upgrading your champions. Now, those are the key things from here in your home screen. I'm going to quickly go through everything else, but if you can understand the fundamentals of summoning champions and upgrading them, that's going to get you a great start if you're new to these style of games. If you know these style of games, you're pretty much across that. Let's go through the rest of the stuff. The Guardian Ring is where you're going to dump a champion, and it's just going to level them up over time. I got my Alice here. Let's just slap her in. You can see it's going to be in 40 minutes. I'm going to get an upgrade on her. I can come back, click, and she's going to get upgraded. So that's just a passive leveling system. Now, there are other things in here. We got Faction Guardians. Now, this one I haven't got too many done, but if you see here, if you have duplicates of a champion, I'm going to feed these guys at the moment. She's also really, really good War Maiden to use, but I'm not going to be using her this early. But if you do have duplicates of a champion, you can put them in here and you can see you're going to get some HP percent. Then you can go here, you can get some attack percent, and then you can go here and you can get some of those stats. So any champion that you're using a lot of, it's really nice to just farm up a bunch of these dupes so that you can get some extra stats, which is actually really quite solid in general. So you can get those stats. I'm not using any barbarians, so I'm not really too stressed about it. So that is that one. Everything else here, I empower champions, you're not worried about. Unbinding and token trader, you're not even worried about these. Completely ignore them for now. Next up, we have the Great Hall. Now, as you play in Arena, the standard Arena, you will be getting medals. You can upgrade some things here. Now, generally, most people will go for accuracy for the element that they use the most. For instance, for magic, so the affinity, whatever you want to call it, the blue one, because accuracy is really nice, especially if you started with Kale, you want to land those poisons. We've got a bunch of good debuffers that are going to need their accuracy. The reason I went with the attack ones first was because there was a mission that we had to do to get those upgraded, and besides that, I will start looking into my accuracy. Now, the next thing we have here is the Forge. Now, as you get into faction wars and stuff like that, you will start being able to craft some of these in the Forge. Essentially, these two sets here, if I have the materials to craft a big one, which is the 5 to 6 star, that's when I'll start using some of my charms. These give you higher star rating gear. These ones give you higher rarity gear, meaning more substats. So I will use those if I have, especially, well, it's pretty much reserved in the early game for the perception set, because accuracy and speed is just too much to pass up. Besides that, the resilience you'll get a bunch of, and if I do have enough to craft some 4 to 5 in the early game, I will do that on these two sets, because they are the ones you will get the most of, and these can give you some really good pieces that help upgrade your progression. So feel free to craft these ones if you want. Once again, if you have 5 to 6 craftable, that is when I would use some of the enhancements, because then you can hopefully get a 6 star that can maybe change your account. But as you can see here, we can just go ahead and craft one anyway. See what it is, a chest plate with attack percent and a speed substat. Dude, that is actually a pretty decent chest plate. It's, once again, it's a 5 star. That's the max I could get out of that, but that is a really good piece. As I mentioned earlier, chest plate, a lot of your damage dealers are going to want that attack percent, and speed is sought by everyone. Obviously, it'd be better if we had crit rate, crit damage up here, but hey, it ain't too bad at all. That is going to be an upgrade for someone on my account. As we move on past there, we have the market. You're not really going to buy too much. I've been buying some mystery shards just because I'm really short on food units and I'm trying to make my 6 star. But besides that, you're not going to buy too much. Sometimes you will see a sacred shard in here. Sorry, not a sacred shard. You will see the ancient shard, the blue ones. If you see them, definitely buy them. They're I think they cost about 200,000 silver, which is worth it in my opinion. And that is the basic trader. I'm not going to go through these other shops. I'll talk about them when we get to their specific things in general. The mine here, you can see my next level is 3. I am at level 2. This thing costs 500 gems to unlock, and then 500 to upgrade to level 2, and then 500 to upgrade to level 3. After you spend your first 800 gems on your main champion's masteries, that is when I go to buy the gem crystal, the gem mine. Then I upgrade it, then I upgrade it. That's going to be my first purchases in the game before I worry about anything else in the game. Now, as we go on from there, I'm going to once again hide my head for a sec. We have a bunch down the bottom. Now, the shop is like real cash purchases. You will get free mystery shards and ancient shards over time. And then also, if you come over here, you can see we've reached day 2 of this event. This is a 6th anniversary event. You can see we get some free gifts. Just note, it will say free here if there is something free for you. So you can see that it still says free. So there should be a daily gift for me waiting here, somewhere here. Here you go, claim free gift. So there is another free gift I've got, and just check here. So that's the main thing with this shop. Outside of buying packs with money, those are going to be the main things you're looking at, is these packs for the free shards and then the free packs over here. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is missions. Now, missions are the one thing that you should be following as closely as you can from when you start the game. These things are very important. You really want to keep going with them. Eventually getting Arbiter is going to be huge. And these are kind of like your guiding light along what you should be doing in the game. You can see here, I'm at a mission that says upgrade a champion to rank 6. I am just so strapped on fodder at the moment. I am so close to it, and then I will make my rank 6, and then I will keep progressing through this, and this is what I will follow. So the missions tab is something that is very important. The quests tab, this is going to have your daily quests, your weekly quests, so on and so forth. Just make sure you get your dailies done, especially when you're early on. It's going to give you a good chunk of experience, and if you need to do anything, you literally just hit the go button. It will take you there and get you there. You will eventually, I think at level 30, unlock advanced quests. Try and do these. These reset every day as well, so you want to do those as well. Now, moving on from that, we also have challenges. These are very much in a similar vein to missions, except I rank missions as much more of a priority. Challenges are something else you can look to go ahead and do stuff. But as you can see, eventually the challenges are going to get out of your reach. This one, upgrade a magic champion to rank 6. That's a blue champion to rank 6, a green champion to rank 6, and a red champion to rank 6. Now, obviously, I haven't even done my first one, so these things are kind of out of reach. Once you get to sort of like the high end, see, this is part 5 of 5. This one's part 9 of 10, this one's part 5 of 5, and this one's part 3 of 3. Once you get to that stage, these things are going to be pretty hard, but in the early stages, these give you a bunch of stamina as well, so you can keep grinding through the game, which is quite nice. The passes, this is where you're going to have, this is early on, you're just going to have the Apprentice Pass. You get some really nice rewards out of here. The Apprentice Pass is actually a good value if you are a spender. Rector Drath is a great champion. You got Attack Break, you got Revives, you got the Veils, got Heals. Like really, really solid champion if you are looking for something. Plus, you do get a bunch of other great stuff in here as well. You get enough 5-star chickens to go ahead and make a 6-star as well. I think it's around 10 to 15 US dollars. Mine's is all in Australian dollars, so I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's just your pass. Do your daily challenges in this pass so that you can go ahead and get it along. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. Now, as we move on from that, we have our clan. As soon as you unlock a clan, I definitely recommend getting into a clan because those missions that I mentioned to follow closely are going to be very important. And one of the missions early on for new players is going to be like defeat the... I can't remember which one comes first, but there's one where you've got to get full activity in it. So if you go over to here to members and we click this, you can see clan activity quests, and these are the quests. So there's going to be like a quest that you have where it's like you got to get full activity, and you can see one of them is battling the Demon Lord twice. So you need to be in a clan to do that. So you will have to get in a clan at some stage. Whether you just join a random clan, that is perfectly fine. If you want to find friends as well, you can jump into my Discord and see if you can find a clan there as well. But definitely jump into a clan as soon as you can. It allows you to get into Demon Lord and start getting some more loot. Index is just where you're going to have a look and be able to see any champion in the game if you want to go ahead and read them. And then that is pretty much it. Now, the next thing we have here is playtime rewards. Now, this top section you will get no matter what, just for playing the game, whether it be on your phone, computer, whatever. If you are playing on your PC, you will get these additional rewards over here, which are quite nice as well. So if you can just leave it on in the background on your PC, you will get a few of these as well. The reason being, if we hit this little hamburger symbol on the left hand side, it pops up another set of menus. Promo codes, once again, I showed that at the start, where you can go ahead and get your promo codes as well. You can do one promo code every 24 hours. Then we have Plarium points. That is what we're looking at. So as you get those Plarium points, which you can do from being on the PC, you will eventually get more rewards down here as well, which is quite nice. Now, the other things we do have over here is the Call of the Arbiter series. Now, if you haven't done this yet, all you have to do is share, hit copy, and then you will unlock all these rewards. There is a ton of stamina in here for new players. So if you want to get that stamina, you can go ahead and grab that as well. As we move on, that's pretty much the main ones I wanted to go through. Progression rewards, as you level up your account, you'll get some extra rewards. There's not too much crazy over there. The next thing I want to quickly touch on is your inbox. Now, inbox, put in sort by expiry date is going to let you see when they're going to expire. So if anything's close to expiring, maybe you want to do that. These are arena tokens. So I kind of want to get into arena, do some battles so I can refresh the tokens, because once again, the arena is going to be important for upgrading our Great Hall. So I want to do as many attacks as I can over there. We're almost done with the home screen. Next, we have tournaments. There will be tournaments that come periodically, which you can jump into and compete in. You can see this one ends in 2 days and 4 hours. This is the Spider tournament. It's going to have different things. You can hit info to find out what you need. Basically, in the early game, don't go out of your way to do these types of things. For instance, like if you're really early game, what you should probably be doing is farming campaign. So you don't want to go farm a dungeon at a low level just for one of these tournaments. The tournaments are more of a, if you're doing it good, it's bonus. If you're not, don't kill your progress by chasing it too hard. And then events is going to be self-explanatory with events. You're going to have things like the gear enhancement event. You just got to upgrade gear during the time and you will get a bunch of different rewards. Pretty standard stuff. So that covers everything on the home screen. Sorry this has taken a minute, but hopefully now you understand absolutely everything that is there. Next, we're going to go into the battle tab and take a look at the battle tab. Now, campaign, once again, early game, this is where you're going to spend a lot of your time. You're going to work your way through normal, through hard, into brutal. Brutal is where you'll probably spend a lot of time. Now, when you do get to brutal, and once again, you'll be following those missions. It will guide you along the way. When you get into Brutal, a recommendation you will see everywhere is to farm Brutal Stage 3 because shields sell for more than anything else. And it's just, this is like the further the stage, the more experience. And then shields sell for more, so why not get a bit more silver for your account while you do that? However, just note, if you are still just reaching into Brutal, maybe something like farming, some of these speed sets, whether it be boots with the speed main stat, whether it be the chest with the attack HP percent or defense percent main stat, whether it be your gloves with your HP percent or defense percent. You can farm some of these because you can get up to 5-star drops on these. So that is something else you can focus on before you just try and be the most efficient on farming, because getting some better gear can also help your account. The other thing is, if you have champions that you really want, for instance, a lot of people will want War Maiden. She is a great defense. She's a great defense breaker. So she has that going for her. So if you want to get multiple copies of her so you can skill her up without using any of your skill tomes, well, you can farm one of these stages, whether it be stage 3 or whether you go for double up and you farm, say, stage 4 because you want some. Obviously, this set isn't the greatest because it's destruction, but in general, you can farm these so you can get extra champions that you're actually chasing through the drops as well. But in general, that's pretty much it for campaign. You work along through it as you're doing your missions, and then you will end up farming stages. Now, when I say you will end up farming stages, for instance, let's go here and say we're going to farm stage 3 because we want more of those War Maidens. Then you're going to put your fodder heroes, which are your heroes that you're going to feed away. For instance, I've run out of 2 stars, so I'm having to do this with 1 stars. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in with my main unit, which is farming. I'm going to click Super Raids. It gives me double the stamina cost, but double the experience and double the drops. And then I can just hit go and away we go. Now we're going to jump in. And you can see we're just going to go boom. And that's pretty much the gist of what we do. We go there and now we're going to kill the enemies. It's going to level up our fodder units, which then we can go ahead and feed to get the stars up on our other units. And that is the basic gist. I ain't going to spend too much longer here. I'm going to cut. We'll be back in a sec. Okay, there we go. As you can see, we finished. They level up. That is going to be the bulk of what you do for the first couple of weeks. These games are grindy games. You're not going to be farming dungeons. You're not going to be trying to get gear. You're going to be leveling things up so that you can feed them to get other things up higher. That is the basic gist. You're going to spend a lot of time doing this. Once again, be fairly targeted on what you want to do. Like I said, for most people, going over here into 12-3 is going to be the most efficient way to do it. But if you are chasing either different sets of gear or different champions, you can feel free to go ahead and farm those. Also, maybe 12-3 is a little bit too hard. Then you go back to something else, which is giving you some more value. So keep that in mind. That is the campaign. Next, we have dungeons. Already mentioned these dungeons. Those are going to be for your ascensions. Then we have Minotaur. This is for your masteries. If you want to upgrade masteries, once again, for your first champion, I would do the masteries by paying the 800 gems. After that, you're going to start farming this thing. Now, the big thing with this one is, in a lot of other places in the game, if you can take a fodder unit, being one of your low-level units, to get experience, it's a great thing. However, in this one, you only want to bring champions that are either already maxed out on their masteries, or champions that you'd need masteries on. These champions are all champions I'm trying to build their masteries on, or he is already complete. So those are the champions that I will be bringing into Minotaur. That is the way Minotaur works. It's just getting scrolls so you can unlock your masteries. Then we have Ice Golem, Dragon, and Fire Knight Castle. These are your 3 different types of gear farming, your artifact farming. Now, Dragon is probably going to be the easiest one for most people to get into. If you look at this account, I'm up to stage 15 of Dragon, whereas Fire Knight, I haven't really pushed it too much. I haven't pushed this one too much because they're a bit harder. Dragon's much more linear. I'll do guides on these in the future, but just know that Dragon's going to be the one you do first. But once again, you're not really going to be farming these. You're just going to be pushing them for missions and stuff like that. Your main focus is going to be leveling up that fodder so that you can keep getting more rank 6s. Then we have Spider's Den. Spider's Den is going to be one where you can get those accessories. It's not overly important to even think about doing this too hard in the early days, so don't stress too much. It's an AoE type fight. It's a bit more complex. You need some more niche units to do really well in Spiders, but that is those accessories. But once again, I wouldn't stress too much on them. Then the Sand Devil and the Shogun, I wouldn't even stress about those. I'm not even going to bother going into those. These are going to be the main things that you look at when you're over here in the dungeon map. Now, as we go on from that, we have Faction Wars. Now, Faction Wars is very important. This is where you're going to get those materials to craft gear. Now, you want to do your Faction Wars every day and get as high as you can in these ones. Now, just note the champion that you start with. So, for instance, I started with Kale, who is a Dark Elf. That one will be open for your first... basically 7 days after you start the account. I'm pretty sure it is. It's open for a long time. I'm pretty sure it's 7 days. So that one will always be open every day. These keys reset daily, so you get 12 per day. You can also get more through some of the side missions as well, but these reset daily, so definitely dump all these keys. Even if it's something like this one, you can see here, I only just unlocked my Alice, so I'm going to have to take her out of leveling up. I only got her today. So before that, I hadn't had hero champions to do this, but even if I just had this guy 3-star at level 30, him 3-star at 14, I would at least be able to clear this first stage, and I would just do all my keys into the first stage. You just want to make sure you burn all of your keys every day, because once again, it's going to give you more crafting materials. That is going to be the main thing you look at here. Just jump in, see what's open, and go ahead and do it. You can see here, I've only got 1 lizard man on my account. This is where you're going to have to start building a ton of different champions, but just if you have them, slap them in. Even if you can only do stage 1, just burn all of your keys. The keys are independent as well, so you'll have 12 keys here, 12 keys there, and 12 keys over there. Make sure you burn them all if you can. If you can't, it is what it is. Then we have Arena. Arena, we have 3 different types. Live Arena unlocks at level 50. We have Classic Arena. This is your standard arena. You can refresh it. You can battle people. Like I said, that is where you're going to get these medals, which you're going to upgrade your Great Hall. So it's important to do this, but I know some people don't enjoy it as much. Just try and... The basic gist is you can refresh for free every 15 minutes. If it looks like everyone's a bit too hard, just come back 15 minutes later and refresh and see if you can find someone easy to beat. That's the basic gist. Not going to spend too much time in there. Tag Team Arena. This is one where you have 3 teams versus 3 teams. Same thing with this one. You can just come back, refresh, find someone that's a bit easier to beat. For instance, this guy, that's an easy beat there. I should be able to deal with that one as well. So that's the kind of thing I would attack. This one, here we go. Perfect example. Level 24, level 30, level 11. That's a free win. Jump in, take those free wins if you're early game, because they're going to be brilliant. Now, with this, you can see we will get these tokens, and in the bazaar you will be able to exchange some of these. Now, in general, you're going to want to be exchanging for your champion fragments over here, for Drexthar. I hate saying this guy's name. I did one on energy because I was trying to push something and it was really stupid and I probably shouldn't do that. But early game, I will do things for energy that I probably shouldn't do. But in general, with these ones, also, you can also only exchange one of these once per day. So don't stack up a ton of the gold and go, I'm going to buy out every copy of this guy. No, it's one per day limit. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it to do with Arena. And then we have the clan boss. The clan boss, obviously, like I said at the start, you want to get yourself into a clan so you can start doing this. Once you defeat a boss, you can still attack it, and the rewards you get at the end of the timing period is going to be determined on how much damage you dealt. So you can see this one here. You can see I'm here, Volkin free to play. I did 3.69 million damage. The max chest is over 1.15 million, so I'm going to get one of these chests. If we kill this boss, hopefully we can kill that as well. We will unlock the ability to go into the hard mode. But as you can see here, this one, if I get over 3.64 million, I will be able to do that one. You can see I'm at 3.69, so I'm good. And you can also see that I've used 2 keys. So it accumulates your damage. So if you want to hit that 3.6 and say you only do like 2.4, well, you can do that 2.4 again, and now you're at 4.8, and then you can get the max rewards. That's pretty much the gist. Once again, these are more in depth. We'll have to do guides and stuff on these bosses in the future, but just note that you want to get into clans so you can dump these. If you're a very brand new player, just use the best champions that you've got to offer, and away you go. You'll be cooking with that. Oh wait, that was my other account. I thought that was me on this account. That was me on my other account. I haven't attacked this one on this account. Here's me on this one. There you go. That was me in normal, dude. Too many accounts. Anyway, that is the clan bosses. Chimera, early on, you're just going to get pantsed by Chimera. I don't know why it unlocks so early. You ain't going to do jack against it. And then Hydra unlocks at level 45, but that's more advanced stuff over there. Doom Tower at level 40, this is like your tower mode where you get really nice rewards. It's going to be tough early on, but it's a great mode. And that's pretty much everything. I'm not going to go through the rest of it at the moment. That is your core game modes. The one thing is, as we look across all these game modes, like in most gacha games, you're going to have your energy here. You can see I'm at 88 of 109. Don't let that overcap. You just want to keep that down. There is also boosters, which I forgot to mention on the home screen. You can see we've got the XP booster. I got 1 week and 18 hours of extra experience in when I'm doing battles. Make sure if you're grinding campaign stages, you use those. You get the XP boosters through a lot of different means. I've probably got some in my bag. Do I have some in my bag here? Yeah, you can see I've got these XP boosters. Just keep them in your bag. You can see this one expires in 4 days, 3 days. So I'm probably just going to use them because I'm going to have to use them. But the 93-day one, I'll leave that there. And then if I do expire on it and maybe I want to do it again, then I can go ahead and grab that. But that is pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in this video. A bit of a lengthy beginner's guide, but hopefully that gets you guys pointed in the right direction, understanding what there is in the game. And like I said, I've only just started this channel. I will be doing a bunch of guides on the game in general, so stay tuned for that. Sub up if you want to, and as always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.